I'm Danny Medine here at the Springfield Mile for round 3 of AMA Pro Flat Track. There is so much extra excitement heating up this weekend. We have Troy Bayless, 3-time World Superbike champion, here with us at this run in the next couple miles. We have Danny Eslick, American road racer, returning to his roots here at AMA Pro Flat Track. So stay with us, don't move. A lot of racing is coming your way. I do. The girls have, I think, quite a few numbers.
Kenny Coolbeth, national number 2. I've been racing quite a long time. I'm the oldest dude on the circuit, and 94 was my rookie year, and just started progressing, climbing the ladder. In 06, 7, and 8, I won the championship riding for Harley-Davidson Motor Company. I was mentally prepared and physically prepared, and you know, that's how it all clicked. I had good equipment and good people around me, so that's what it took. It's hard work, you know. You have to put your heart and soul into it, and you know, do your job on Saturdays, and you know, that's what I did, and that's what I still do. You know, I go to every race to win it, so my mentality hasn't changed. I don't have a personal trainer, I don't have a mental coach. I just do my own thing and keep to myself, and you know, that's how I keep my focus. The easier it is and the plainer my program is the best I do. So I feel that you know, I've actually stepped it up quite a bit this past winter, training and stuff, and you know, just enjoying life. You know, my head's in the right spot. I have a great home atmosphere. My wife's great, and all in all, it's good. You know, great people behind you. So focus, and it's pretty easy for me.
I'm Jen Coolbeth. Kenny and I have been together for about 4 years, almost 4 years. We've been married a year and a half, and we moved down to Florida here in October, and it's been great. Enjoy all the warm weather and the sunshine, and working on this place. That's about it. Yep, I'm 7 months pregnant. Our due date is July 4th. We're hoping it happens between like a Sunday and a Thursday, so Kenny's there. So far it's been good. We're having a boy, and for everybody that's wondering, we hope he doesn't race. We'd like him to be like a professional golfer or something, you know.
The best thing for me, I think, is to be on the motorcycle, really, you know. So any kind of riding I do is great, and I see it, you know, on Saturday how it helps me. So I try to, you know, at least ride 2 or 3 times a week, and it doesn't matter, motocross, you know, dirt track or whatever, but you know, it's part of my life. You know, even when I'm not racing, I think I'll still probably, you know, train and you know, ride a lot of motorcycles. So it's just in your blood, and you know, I enjoy it. I want to stay healthy, you know, regardless if I'm racing. I get super stoked when I win a race. It's one of those things you have to take advantage of. They're hard to come by, and you know, when you go across that line, the feeling is unbelievable, and the adrenaline is so crazy, and you just freak out. It's such a great feeling, and you know, it's tough to win a race, regardless, you know, what you do. So especially in our level, it's pretty tough. So take full advantage of you know, enjoying it. You know, I've won a lot of races by quite a margin, and you know, Daytona was one of them. It's just, you know, I'm so focused, and you know, just keep on picking away on laps. It's funny, you know, like the ones you do win by a pretty big margin. It's the easiest, you know. It's funny, and then you'll finish like 5th or 6th the one weekend, and it was the hardest you've ever ridden. So it's kind of funny how it works. I adapt more to the, you know, smooth tracks, groove tracks. You know, I don't even know what I do. You know, people say, why do you do this? Why do you do that? It's like, I don't even know I do it until I see a picture or a video. So it's pretty crazy how you kind of unplug. It's kind of natural to me. It's just, you know, you do it for so long. It's just in your blood, and you go for it and do it. I can't complain. 3 championships and 34 wins. It's been a good career so far, and I'm not quitting anytime soon. That's for sure. It's too fun. You know, I'm having fun riding my motorcycle. Who can say that? And making a living. So a lot of people don't say they have fun working. So I've got a unique job, and I'm going to take full advantage of it. It's due to great people behind me that I get to do this, all my sponsors. I feel confident going into this season. We got a good package, and we'll be on the XR 750 again. I'm going to do everything in my power to get the #1 plate this year for sure.
Well, this time around for me, it's quite a different experience here in the US. I'm here to do some dirt track or flat track. I'm here on the Ducati Scrambler with Lloyd Brothers Motorsport. It's my first time down here in Savannah, and when I rolled into the track this morning, I looked at it and I thought, shit, that's pretty big. It's only a half mile. And the track looked rough, but you know, it took me a little while to get going, but I really enjoyed riding the bike, and the bike actually handled the bumps very well, and I'm coming away with a good smile. I knew it was going to be, it's a tough job. Like I knew I wasn't going to come here and just like, you know, be on form straight away. I think I learnt quite a lot today. I think Johnny had a good time as well. It's nice to meet Johnny, and I think he's going to be a great teammate, and I've learned a bit from him as well. He seems very happy, and I think he's really happy to be part of the team.
Joined the Ducati team for 2015. It's already been a great experience just working with everybody. You know, I've been on some pretty good teams in the past, but it feels like the most professional team I've ever been on. The bikes, I can't say enough about it. Today was awesome, you know, to see Troy out there riding, and then also to see how I was progressing on the bikes and how, you know, pretty much easily we picked up speed pretty quickly. Overall, the bikes are just amazing. They feel really balanced. They're pretty light, so it's gonna be good. Troy Bayless is world champion road racer, but he really impressed me today. It was neat to see, you know, if I would tell him something, he would try it. He got to follow him a couple of laps, he followed me, so it was neat to get out here, get out, you know, the week before the race, get on the bike, do some riding, and you know, now we can kind of chat on some stuff the next week, and then when we get to the track, we know how each other works, and I think I can feed off him, he can feed off me, and I think we'll be good teammates. He's going to improve a lot, and it's going to be neat to you know, see these Ducatis run up front.
I guess I'm here because I found myself right back at the start of my grassroots. Like I grew up doing dirt track in Australia, which was sort of more loose stuff when I was younger. When I stopped road racing, I came over for Bell to do a job and ended up hooking up with JD Beach, and that really got me started with wanting to do more flat track. And I wanted to come and experience some big tracks and see what it was all about. But basically, I'm trying to help promote dirt track or flat track in Australia, and hopefully here as well. It's just going to make it bigger and better.
that support the Class 79 and friends. It allows us to help the riders when they're injured, and we can't do it without your support. So big thank you, and a great day here at the Springfield Mile. Thank you all very much.
All right, I think they got the winner up there in the stand. Charlie Roberts and the gang, Class of 79 and friends, had a wonderful golf outing. They raised money to help people that get injured in our sport of flat track. So if you're the winner, find Charlie Roberts over there in the grandstands. He's headed up that way. Chris Carr, the track looks like it's ready to go. We have the GNC2 Last Chance Qualifier, so we're going to narrow the field down. They're only going to take 4 riders out of this next race to the main event. Everybody else is done for the day.
Yeah, this last chance for these guys to get in the final. It's time to get with the program, find out what they got, race to the front.
All right, so first is the GNC2 Last Chance Qualifier. After that will be probably one of the most exciting races of the afternoon. It's a 4-lap dash for cash. The winner gets $1,000 and 1 point towards that championship. More importantly, I think, Chris, maybe not per se on this track, but the way you finish the dash for cash, that is your pick on the line for that main event.
Yeah, I don't think it will be very critical today, but on some of the Blue Groove half miles that we go to, or maybe the Lima half mile where you like to be in a right position, depending on how the starting line forms out. I think it could be more key down the road. But today on the Springfield Mile, I mean, you can pretty much, as we saw in a heat race, rider from the second row leading the first GNC1 heat was Scott Stump. So starting position not quite as critical.
All right, so after our GNC1 Dash for Cash, we have 2 our GNC1 semifinals, and those will be right after that Dash for Cash. We'll take the top 3 riders out of those 2, and then we'll be ready for our main events. After our second GNC2 semifinal, we will have our second and only other intermission break. Good time to stretch your legs, get the event t-shirts, get souvenir programs, and check out what's going on out there behind the grandstands. That'll be during that second intermission. So like I said, we got a couple more races. We have 4 races, and then our second break, we'll come back with the GNC2 main event. We'll have the fastest 18 GNC2 riders for 12 laps, and then we'll go straight into the GNC1 main event. 18 riders, 25 laps, or 25 miles. You never know who's going to win here today. They just said fire them up down there in the holding pen. Are you ready to get back on the racetrack, Chris?
I am ready to watch some more racing.
All right, GNC2 will be coming up next. We'll go ahead and give you the starting lineup right now. On the pole, first pick, I believe. Do you get picks in the semi, or you got to go inside to out?
Inside or outside, I believe, will be the pick. First
pick for Jeffrey Lowry, either outside or inside. It's the 23F St. Louisville, Ohio, Jeffrey Lowry. Second pick from Clearwater, Florida is the 17C, Sean McNary. Third pick on the front row from Canandaigua, New York. They call him the Flying Tomato. That's the 36B of Colby Carlisle. Fourth pick on the front row from Chesterfield, Virginia, the 16S of Tristan Avery. Fifth on the front row, shouldn't say pick anymore because it's either you got to go inside or out. Mac McGrew, Hawley, Minnesota on a Honda RS 750.
Only Honda in the field.
Last pick on the second row is the 32C, Brian McRoberts from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I don't believe that's right. I think he's a Florida rider. I don't know how that got on there. Second row, 74F, Barry Binkert Jr., 20C, Mike Dillon, 24F, JR Addison, 11G, Gary Ketchum, 11F, Curtis Vanderkoy. 54A is Dan Bromley, 23Z, James Monaco, 24J, Brandon Wilhelm, and rounding out your field is the 94B, Flying Ryan Wells. So that's the starting lineup for this next race. I believe they're all sitting down there in the holding pen, ready to go. They got to be getting anxious right now because we'll only take the top 4 out of this one to the main event.
I'm sure they are anxious, and I believe the 24J and the 94B had some mechanical issues. Be interesting to see if they make the start. A lot of these riders in the GNC2 class don't have access per se to a spare motorcycle, and we see those 2 riders somewhat apt. Well, we see the Wells lined up, but we don't see the 94B in the staging area at the moment. Excuse me, the 24J in the staging area at the moment. So hopefully he's either working on his bike at the last minute or trying to put number plates on somebody else's, or his day may be done.
Yeah, if you don't check a bike in earlier in the day, then it's not allowed to race either. A lot of teams check several different motorcycles. You can see a lot of spare motorcycles are lined up down there by where all the bikes are at right now. Those are your backup motorcycles. So some people don't have a backup bike, and if they don't have another bike checked in from another team, then their day is done already.
Yeah, it surprised me sometimes. If you're traveling with a buddy and you happen to have a third bike, it's a shared spare. I don't know if that's the situation. That's sometimes people don't think of stuff like that. But you come to the line with what you have, and unfortunately, if you don't have anything, your day is done. Hopefully, we'll see the 24J make its way to the racetrack.
So I thought we're getting ready to go, but they've shut the engines off once again, so we're kind of waiting for what's going to happen. It's our GNC2 Last Chance Qualifier next weekend. The series moves out west. Friday night, we'll have the night before the big one, which is the Lodi Short Track. Lodi Motorcycle Club. We'll be out there checking it out. And then on Saturday, we'll be Sacramento Mile. That's, the Lodi is where you cut your teeth, first of all, but Sacramento's got to be a place that's deep and dear to you.
Yeah, a very special place for me. My first mile win in mile racing was in Sacramento in 1987. I was riding a motorcycle built by Mert Lawwell, and that was the first year of the restrictor plates. And Mert had worked all winter long, and that happened to be the first mile of the year at that time. It was in April, and that thing was a weapon. This is one of those days where everything couldn't have gone more perfectly. So a lot of fond memories for me, close to home, getting a win on a big twin there in my neck of the woods. Believe me, the party was on that night, and we're looking forward to going back and seeing some old friends next week. And of course, I get to rub elbows at speed with the legendary Jay Springsteen as well in our little Clash of the Titans 2. So a lot of good things to look forward to for those that are going to the Sacramento Mile or those who are watching from home.
Absolutely, and 10 days from right now, believe it or not, Chris, it's only 10 days away, the first ever flat track at X Games. That'll be live on ESPN June the 4th, which is a Thursday night, so if you can't be down there, watch it on ESPN Live.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity for the sport of flat track. We know Harley-Davidson has had a lot to do with facilitating this to get them to the racetrack and to get flat track integrated into X Games. They've also done some stuff on ice. It'd be interesting to see if that becomes part of Winter X in the future as well. But to have flat track showcased on the biggest sports network in the world, essentially ESPN, is pretty cool for us.
And the riders that were invited to this, it's an invitational only. They decided we'll take the top 18 from the GNC1 points from last season, and there's 6 invitationals, including Danny Eslick, who's out here trying to dust off the cobwebs on the flat tracker, who's the 2-time Daytona 200 winner. Also, they're taking Nicole Meese, they're taking Shayna Texter, and a couple other invited riders. So it's going to be pretty cool. 24 total, and again, that's at 7 p.m. And the bikes are coming to the racetrack, so it is time to get back out there. And this is a GNC2 Last Chance Qualifier. You must finish first, second, third, or fourth, or your day is done here at the Springfield Mile.
Yeah, tough program to make. It was absolutely outstanding to see a full field of GNC2. They typically at each event have 32 riders, and they filled it with 32 twins.
That's awesome.
At the GNC2 level. These guys were called Basic Twins a year ago, and we had 21, 22 filling the grid at that time. A lot of guys went to work, a lot of guys moved up, and here we have 32 starting today.
And last year there was a there was a Pro Singles Championship and a Pro Twins Championship. This year you have to run your twins and your singles, add the points just like the GNC1 class to get that overall championship and to pick up that Tommy Duma beautiful ring. That's a one-of-a-kind ring. So you must gather points all year long, just like the GNC1 class.
Well, it's a great training ground, and I think these riders, their future will benefit from learning on the twins at this level, in this class, against peers their own age or maybe experience level, and throw in a couple of returning veterans along the way that'll help accelerate their learning curve. I expect to see more and more talent coming out of this class and moving up to GNC1.
If this were you, how long would you stick around in this class? Would you just wait and see how you did in the points? Would you just make sure you got the experience, or funding? I mean, there's several variables. I mean, I know that, but...
Well, I think a lot depends on your results. Guys that tend to finish toward the front want to move up to the next level and keep that learning curve accelerating and steep. A lot of times you stick around in a class too long, your learning curve kind of tapers off. And if you're shooting for the stars, you got to get up there with the stars to mix it up and learn your lessons.
All right, so looking at the field, looks like Colby Carlisle's making some last-minute adjustments. Here we go. Track is clear, ladies and gentlemen. GNC2. Last Chance Qualifier, 1st through 4th to the main event. Watch the Christmas tree. See if anybody gets a better start than anybody else. Watch that RS 750 Honda out there, the 10L of Mac McGrew.
Much like the XR 750, that's an RS 750 from the 80s. Had a good start going. Looks like he missed a little bit of a shift, but looks like is that the 23?
23F, Jeffrey Lowry's going to lead him off of turn 2. He's got one of those bright green leathers behind him. I believe that is the 17C of Sean McNary. Sean McNary is going to take him down there in the second spot. A little head shake back there, third. Here comes the number 30, I believe.
36 of Colby Carlisle drafting up into the third position. Moves up as our top 2 guys inch away a little bit in the opening lap. Lowry and McNary.
Top 4 finishers to the main event. Here comes lap number 1 going in the books. This is scheduled to be a 6-lap race. All of them fanning out across the start-finish line. Mac McGrew on the Honda, and on the inside, Colby Carlisle on the the red motorcycle. That is a Kawasaki.
And we just moving up into the 4th position, the 16S, the young Horizon Award candidate before getting hurt here in Springfield last summer. Moves up into the 4th spot. Tristan Avery out of Virginia. He's kind of a prodigy or project, so to speak, of the great number 67 Mike Hacker. Learned a lot of lessons from him. It was great to see him move up into a solid 3rd place position.
Avery takes over that 3rd spot in the 16S. Remember, he had a terrible accident here last year on the half mile just behind this turn number 3 in the Amateur Nationals that goes on each and every year. This year, the Amateur Nationals move on down to DuQuoin right after the DuQuoin Mile, which is July 4th. Chris is calling it the Firecracker. What do you call it? Firecracker Mile?
Fireworks at DuQuoin, yeah. Firecracker Mile.
Look at that.
Anything hot as they go 4 abreast off into turn 3.
Here comes the 33 Levi Mayer on the bright yellow bike, but he cooked it in there a little bit too hot, slid off the groove. So Levi Mayer's charging towards the front.
Yeah, 4 of them go in, and the 16S was able to immediately gap them, had no issues going through the corner, and actually gain on Sean McNary for the 2nd place position, and leave those other guys a spot, leave them to fight it out for the 4th spot. Tristan was able to create a good gap there, giving himself a little bit of insurance here with little over halfway go in this semi.
Just heard on the radio the 24F, J.R. Addison, he's off the track. His day is done. Now Levi Mayer pulls up short on the back straightaway, the 33G. 33P throws his hand up in the air. Let's give you a rundown. Jeffrey Lowry, Sean McNary, Tristan Avery. That's a good battle for 2nd place. 4th is Levi Mayer, but he dropped off. So now in 4th, it looks like the 36B of Colby Carlisle's in the transfer spot. Top 4 to the main event. Everybody else puts him in the holler, and we'll see him next weekend, actually 6 days from now, out there on the West Coast in Sacramento.
Yeah, as we see the battle for 2nd heated up between Avery. He's getting through the corners, gets a good run up the inside, and able to out-accelerate the 17 coming off the corner. But then it puts him in a position to kind of set himself up for a return draft. Let's see if he'll be able to create a little separation now that he gets by.
A bunch of riders have caught up to him, though, in the meantime, so it's going to be a dogfight from 3rd on back. The leader's pulling away. Avery's pulling away now also, so it's Jeffrey Lowry. We hadn't even mentioned his name. He's way out front. Sean McNary now in 2nd. Now it is Avery. McNary. Here comes Dan Bromley on the Bill Warner Racing Kawasaki. He's making his way towards the front after a not-so-good start. White flag is out. Top 4 to the main event, ladies and gentlemen, so it's go time.
Heck of a battle here for the 4th position. A lot of guys having some handling issues coming off at turn 2 as Bromley comes up the inside. The 36B up the inside as well. They go nearly 3 wide into turn 3.
Chris, do you think you can see far enough ahead to know what position they're in?
I'm sure they know, yes.
Okay,
We can pick out. They know that they're racing for the final spot.
Here they come to the checkered flag. It's Jeffrey Lowry, Tristan Avery, and everybody else fanning out across the start-finish line. We'll give you the rundown in just a second, but that was a great race.
It looked like the 54A and the 36B, Bromley and Carlisle getting the 3rd and 4th. Final transfer spots to the final out of the Last Chance Qualifier.
I do apologize to Jeffrey Lowry, but he kind of got away from everybody. We were watching the battle deeper in the field, but Lowry picks up the win, the Kawasaki. 2nd, the 16S, Tristan Avery, also on a Kawasaki. We got Kawasaki's in the top 7 spots. 3rd spot, Colby Carlisle, Canandaigua, New York, and Dan Bromley takes that 4th and final transfer spot away. So they're on back, goes on home. Sean McNary, Ryan Wells, Brian McRoberts, Mac McGrew, Mike Dillon, Barry Binkert, Gary Ketchum, Levi Mayer, J.R. Addison, Curtis Van de Kooi, and one rider did not start is James Monaco. So that was a great race. Some of those riders are done for the afternoon already, Chris, and some of them have to get ready for the main.
Yes, they do, but great run. Former Horizon Award winner here, the 23F of Jeffrey Lowry. I think a lot of people expected a little more out of him a little sooner, but you know, in his second full year as a GNC2 rider, getting on a twin, having some success here at arguably one of the famous mile tracks we go to, Springfield Mile.
All right, let's go trackside with our Last Chance Qualifier winner, and Danny.
All right, thanks to you guys. We have Jeffrey Lowry down here taking off his helmet. You're getting ready to go into the finals. Are you going to be making any changes?
Yeah, I think we still have a few, just little things to adjust on the bike. You know, we felt great in qualifying. The track changed a little bit, caught us off guard for the heat race, but I think we're there now. I couldn't do this without all my sponsors and supporters out there helping me. I got to give a huge thank you to all you gray hogs out there. You guys are awesome. I got to thank Super Trap, Weimer Cycle, FPS Racing, Dyno J, Axo, just everyone that's helped get me here, and we're looking forward to moving forward in the main.
All right, you guys, give it up for Jeffrey Lowry. He's going on into the main event.
Good job, super excited young guy right there. He does make it to the main. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, will be our GNC1 Dash for Cash, the Harley-Davidson GNC1 class presented by Vance Hines. The 6 top finishers from each of the 3 heat races will bring them out. On the pole, the 42, that is Flying Brian Smith from Flint, Michigan, on the Crosley Brands Kawasaki. Number 1, Jared Meese from Clio, Michigan, on the Las Vegas Harley-Davidson. Number 7, Slammin' Sammy Halbert, Graham, Washington, on the Briggs Auto Scott Power Sports Kawasaki. 4th pick on the front row, number 6 from Eatonville, Washington, the Factory Harley-Davidson Motor Company of Brad the Bullet Baker. 5th pick on the front row from Oxford, Pennsylvania, the latest Motors Triumph Bonneville, the Big 44, Brandon Robinson. And last rider on the front row on the Ducati 1100, the Lloyd Brothers Motorsports Ducati entry from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, JL10, that is Johnny Lewis, number 10. Track's clear. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. This is a good preview. See how things shake out for the main event. This will be our front row, and most likely a different order. But
4 laps.
Interesting enough, it seems like it takes the Brian Smith and the 42 Kawasaki a few laps to get going. As the number 7 Halbert and the 42 1-2. A much improved start, much better than the heat race for the 42. 2 Kawasaki's out front, the factory Harley in 3rd, and we find Meese back a ways.
Meese back there in the 5th spot. Behind him is the 10 of Johnny Lewis. So Sammy Halbert leads him down the back straightaway. Here comes the Piper. Brian Smith goes up the inside and takes the lead in turn number 3. Gets all kinds of sideways and goes off the racing surface. He's drifting back. So now Sammy Halbert's got some breathing room. He's starting to pull away. Robinson goes from deep in the field up to 2nd. Baker in 3rd. Smith was sideways coming off the corner on the 42 bike.
Yeah, he got in a little low, got underneath the rubber, and with that tailwind, it was hard for him to catch the grip going into turn 3, and it pushed him wide.
So it's Sammy Halbert out front, Brad Baker in 2nd. Brian Smith now has some work to do if he wants to win this one. He's back in 3rd. 4th is Robinson, 5th is Meese, and 6th is the Ducati of Johnny Lewis. Here comes Smith. Now he tries the high line going into turn number 3.
Yeah, he says, I'm not going to make that mistake twice. As we see the 6 drift up a little bit, Baker gets a little wide, able to get it back down. He's going to have to make some hay through the middle of the corner to run down the 7. 42 drafts by the 6 pretty easily. The 44 gets a good run, and now we got them all 5 stacked up together.
Looked like Robinson got up there and touched the inside guardrail almost.
Yeah, ran out of room there with Jared Meese sticking his nose in there on the number 1.
Look at Brian Smith pulling away from everybody else off of turn number 2. Smith on the 42, then they're 3 wide for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Here they come. It's Brian Smith, 42, Sammy Halbert on the 7 bike. Looks like Baker's up there in 3rd, Meese now 4th, Robinson in the 5th position. Here comes Sammy Halbert putting on a charge, coming off of 4. They'll be coming to the white flag this time by. It's Smith and Halbert.
And they're fanning out 4 wide. Meese tries to go up around the outside, and Baker gets up the inside. Outstanding save. He got up in there, front wheel tucked up underneath the 42, and somehow kept that thing on 2 wheels and didn't skip a beat.
And he didn't knock down Brian Smith in the process. I know they touched going into 1, but it's Smith lead him into 3. It's Smith and Baker.
And Meese pokes the nose up in there, gets into the 3rd spot as we run into the checkered flag. It's going to be hard to out-accelerate the 42, but we'll see if anybody's got the ability to do that.
The Piper leads him to the line. 2nd spot's going to be Meese, I believe, unofficially. We'll give you the rundown in just a second. But ladies and gentlemen, how'd you like that Dash for Cash? Brian Smith taking the win. Sammy Halbert comes home second on the 7 bike. I'm sorry, Jared Meese comes home second. It just updated in front of me. I was wondering what was going on. So Smith, your winner on the 42 Kawasaki. Second, Jared Meese on the Harley. Third, Sammy Halbert, number 7 on a Kawasaki. Fourth is Brad Baker on the Harley. Triumph, number 44, Brandon Robinson will be 5th. And the Ducati, Johnny Lewis will be 6th. That will be how they pick their starting spots on the front row of today's 25-lap Harley-Davidson GNC1 Vance Hines main event. So the winner gets to go up there and meet Danny here in just a second. I got the winners of the Indianapolis 500. Should we tell everybody, or should we just?
That's fine with me.
Spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear who won the Indy 500, cover your ears. It is Montoya taking the win and Will Powers second. That is all I have been relayed to me, but okay, we're done spoiling things. Let's go back down trackside. The winner's headed up to that victory podium, trying to make the way up the ramp. He's on the Kawasaki. Looks like the old Kawasaki again, right? Not the skinny one?
Well, about the only thing in this program that changed is the color of the motorcycle and the leathers. Brian Smith resuming his dominance here. Looks like to be the guy to beat as we get ready to go toward the main event later. As we head it down to Danny Medine and our Dash winner, Brian Smith.
Thanks, you guys. Well, I know what I would do with $1,000, but Brian Smith, what's your plan to do with the winnings from the Dash for Cash?
Hopefully spend it on the after party tonight after I win the Grand National Final.
Are we all invited?
Yeah, the whole grandstands will be down here in the pit area, 42 pit, if we win this thing tonight. It'll be a big party.
Brian, what's the key to winning a Dash for Cash?
It's a sprint race. I about threw it away the first lap going into turn 3 and about screwed it all up. I went off the groove and just about went down. Luckily, I was able to reel them guys back in. Halbert's real strong on that other Kawasaki, so my hat's off to my whole crew for working their butts off the last couple weeks. Crosley Radio, Kawasaki, via Sparza, Joe Sparza. I know you're at home, but thanks for all the support. And Ideal Environmental, Ricky Howerton, Jeff Gordon, Ron Glidden, they give me a hell of a bike once again, so thanks, guys.
So give it up for Brian.
Brian Smith taking home the Dash for Cash win. Up next, we go into the GNC1 semifinal. Out of this one, we'll take the top 3 riders to the main event. First pick on the front row, number 80, Stevie Bonzi. Number 77, Kyle Johnson. 73, Dougie Fresh. That's Doug Lawrence. 91, Mikey Martin. Number 49, Chad Costa, California Kid, right beside number 54, Mikey Rush. That is your front row. Row number 2 looks like this. The 82, Jeremy Higgins. 61, Dustin Crow. 16, Wyatt McGuire. The 55, Shane Vance. 90, W, that is Wyatt. And on the second row is one of our racing ladies. This is the 52 of Shayna Texter. Row number 3 has the 46 of Skinny Lenny, Aaron Lindfors. 11C, Shane Fox. 67, Colt Schmaltz. 72, Chaz Landers. Those two are brand new national number holders. 17F, Jared Vandekoy's got a lot of work to do if he's going to make this main. And the 50P, that's Kurt Marmer from right here in Springfield, Illinois. So keep your eyes on Vandekoy. He broke in that first heat race. He is way at the back. And a few people throwing their hands up in the air already. So it looks like we got 6 on the front, 5 on the back. Now Shayna takes her spot coming up here. Wyatt McGuire pulls around on his Kawasaki. Whoops. There's a frog in my throat, I think. What are we doing back here?
I don't know. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm glad you put your pants back on. Track's clear. Here we go. GNC1 semifinal. First, second, and third to the main. Everybody else is done for the afternoon.
We look at the number 73 on the front row of Doug Lawrence riding an ex-Ricky Howerton Kawasaki. He's normally made a lot of his main events here at Springfield and done real well on Harley-Davidsons. Finds himself riding a different brand for the first time, probably taking a little getting used to as we see a great start for the 91. Fluffy Mikey Martin out front with a good hole shot on the Dick Wierbach Kawasaki with the 73 of Doug Lawrence in tow.
All right, so Mikey Martin back hooked up with the Wierbach. They won a lot of races together in the pro singles a few years back. Now they're back together, and here they come down the backstretch. Kyle Johnson moves himself on the 77 up the third. Looks like Wyatt McGuire, that bright green framed bike, up to the 4th spot, but he slips a little bit wide. Remember, you have to finish in the top 3 positions. Here they come off of 4. It is Mikey Martin, Dougie Fresh in second, Kyle Johnson right behind him on the 77 bike.
Yeah, starting to stretch it out. Good run for Johnson after the issue that he had in in qualifying with the front end basically dropping down on him. Fortunate to be able to ride that one off the racetrack. Apparently he's either on the same bike or a spare, sitting in a solid position for transfer to the final.
So Mikey Martin still has about a 4 or 5 bike length gap back to second spot. Second is Dougie Lawrence. Kyle Johnson still in third. He's about 15 bike lengths back. And then we got Wyatt McGuire, Stevie Bonzi, Jeremy Higgins, and Mike Rush. I'm still looking for the 17F of Vanderkoy, see if he can catch up to these guys. He is struggling a little bit today.
Yeah, sitting back in the 13th position the previous lap, trying to make his way forward. Very difficult. We got, as we see, the 80 of Steve Bonzi running in the 4th position, looking for a way forward to get himself a spot in the final.
Can you signal these riders when you're out there racing against your competitors? Do you try to talk to people behind you with hand signals and say, get behind me, let's make it work? I know I used to watch it back in the day with you and Parker and Carr and people like that, but I don't see that anymore, Chris.
Yeah, we've done that in the past. You know, back in the days of my success, a lot of us, we were all pretty much on Harleys and the bikes were a little bit more equally matched. But yeah, we'd if we'd see somebody off in the distance, you know, reach your hand back and kind of do a backwards tomahawk there and say, hey, line up, get behind me, let's work together to move forward. But we see the 80 working real hard to run down the 77 of Johnson for that final spot, but not having a good time getting off of turn 2. He's going to have to do a little bit more in 3 and 4 to move forward.
So it's Mikey Martin, Doug Lawrence, Kyle Johnson, Stevie Bonzi still in the 4th spot. He needs one more to keep racing today. 16 of Wyatt McGuire in 5th. He slips off the groove. And 82, Jeremy Higgins comes on by. Mikey Rush in 7th. Shayna Texter's in the 8th spot. 9th is Coast. 10th is Shane Vance. That's your top 10. Laps winding down quickly. This is an 8-lap race. Top 3 and only 3 to the main event.
Yeah, the 80 of Stevie Bonzi needs to hustle it through the corner. He doesn't have anybody to work with. He's going to have to rely on his own talent and skill to run down. And as we see the 77 inch toward the 73, he's got himself a drafting partner up front. So as things start to tighten up front, maybe if they start getting to race together, we'll see Bonzi be able to maybe make his way forward. But they've lined up pretty good in front of him.
It's impressive that Johnson has actually caught up to the back of the 73. So now Johnson might pull out and make a pass. Looked like he bobbled just a little bit. Now he puts his hand on the handlebars a little early. He takes a look at the high side, doesn't want to disrupt anything right now. He knows he's in a transfer spot, but he also knows there's some hungry guys and gals right behind him.
Certainly, as he gets a good drive off of turn 2, as the 73 of Lawrence trying to get a little bit closer to the 91. Seems to be running pretty patient. Maybe he's going, I'm just going to sit right here, follow the leader, and keep myself in a position for the main event. As they tighten up a little bit more, we see the 80 as well making some moves. We'll see if we can have a 4-rider battle.
2 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. This is it, top 3. Yeah, 3 spots only. The top 3 right now are Kawasaki's. The Harley of Stevie Bonzi starting to catch up to him.
He's making some headway as the leader, Doug Lawrence, gets a good run. Had drafted by the 91 down the front straightaway, gapped him through turns 1 and 2, and holds the lead all the way down the backstretch into turn 3.
That's Dougie Fresh out front from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. Comes down here, races with us all summer long, and he leads them off of 4. Mikey Martin is right there. He pulls out early, trying to make the pass as the white flag comes out. You know what? This is going to let Bonzi come up there. Here comes Johnson, trying to make it 3 wide.
When they go 3 wide like that, as they
Martin off the groove.
Martin off the groove. 80 sneaks up up the inside. 80 needs to latch on to some draft. The Kawasaki seems to be pretty strong here on the last lap. They're gonna 91 goes back into 3rd.
Bonzi just has a tough time coming off of turn number 2, drifts up there by the wall every time. So here they come to the finish line. Remember, only 3 of these riders keep racing. There's 4 of them battling for 3 spots. Kyle Johnson's gonna lead him off of turn number 4. He is a GNC2 champion, and he's stretching him off of 4. Johnson takes the win. Looks like Dougie Fresh will come home in 2nd. I believe Kyle Johnson takes that 3rd spot. So I thought Johnson was gone as he got off the groove, or Mikey Martin actually got off the groove down there and somehow recovered and put himself into the main event. So Kyle Johnson, your winner, number 77. And he will put himself in the main event. Doug Lawrence, 73, will get 2nd. And 91, Fluffy, Mikey Martin puts 3 more Kawasaki's in the main event. Stevie Bonzi 4th. Shayna Texter all the way up to the 5th spot on her Kawasaki. Hollywood Higgins will get 6th. Wyatt McGuire 7th. Jared Vandekoy from the tail end of the field up to 8th. Mikey Rush, Shane Vance, Dustin Crowe 11th. Chad Coast 12th. Colt Shabolt's 13th. Wyatt Anderson 14th, and Linford's 4 laps down 15th. Shane Fox and a couple of them did not make the start. So impressive run right there. Saw some different lines going on. Little bumping down there in that turn number 1 on that last lap.
Yeah, things got a little tight going into turn 1. You get sucked in there pretty good, but this is an impressive performance by the 77 of Kyle Johnson to have an issue, a scary incident in practice with the front end basically dropping down on him, getting loose, and you know, to be able to come back from that, not only physically but mentally, and put himself into position to win a semifinal and go to make his first main event at the Springfield Mile in the GNC1 class.
He's got that national number because he won the GNC2 championship, but now let's go trackside as he's won this semifinal here at Springfield. Danny?
Kyle Johnson, what a race. Let's take us through that last lap.
Oh yeah, Dougie went to draft by Mikey in that last lap and gave me a good room for big old bubble to draft up, and I was able to draft by both of them and be able to hold them off that last lap.
Are you going to be making any changes going into the main event?
Yeah, we'll definitely go back and make a few little changes, but we're pretty close. We're learning a lot. First ride on this bike, and it's feeling good. I can't thank Gordy Chopre and Craig Parkinson enough. We worked their butts off on this thing, and everybody else, whole Parkinson Brothers team, Hot Rod Harley-Davidson, Motorcycle Superstore, Saddleman, Motion Pro, Race Tech, X-Trim, the Geezers, Motion Pro, and Pro One Industries. Thanks.
Awesome. All right, fans, give it up to Kyle Johnson.
All right, Kyle Johnson taking the win in semifinal number 1. There's one more. Next race, we'll take a second scheduled intermission. So on the pole, first pick can go inside or outside. It's the number 17, Hammerin' Hank, Henry Wiles. 74, Scooter Vernon. 96, Cody John Cox. 94K, that is Jake Cunningham. 87 is Mick Kirkness. 28P, Michael Bickerton. 27, let's go back to row number 2. Actually, 27 is Robbie Pearson. 89, Evan Bear. 20T, Mikey LaBelle. 65, Corey Texter on the Yamaha. 21L, Troy Bayless from Australia on the Ducati. And the 13X, Ken Maynard back there in row number 2. Row number 3 will be Danny Esslig. 98, Cale Kolkman. 55, Jake Shoemaker. 35, Will Cato. And the 23F of Ryan Foster.
Well, last chance for the Australian World Superbike champion Troy Bayless to possibly see the racetrack today. He's made some improvements. He finds himself moving up a row, his second row in this race. But there's some heavy hitters up front in the 17 of Henry Wiles, a lot of experienced riders as well as some rookies. You know, we see the second row, the 27 of Robbie Pearson on the Waters Auto Body KTM. Got a tough feel for him to get in the final.
Watch the 96 of John Cox, got the bright orange motorcycle. He's been working on a Yamaha, but he did not get the cams in, so he's back on his old reliable Harley. And Wiles going to take him into the first corner. First looks like the 94K of Cunningham right there in second. Now Bugs Pearson, the Illinois rider, moves up there into the third spot. They're going to take him down the back straightaway. Henry Wiles, he had him covered last night until he had a mechanical issue on the little bike over there at the TT, but now he's in the lead of this one.
Yeah, pretty dominating performance on the TT as we expect from him. The miles haven't been his forte. First year with the Zanatti racing team. Had a little bad luck last night, but looks like he's righted the ship so far in this semi as he's challenged up the inside.
Jake Cunningham, the 94K, has never made a Grand National, so right now he's in that spot right now to have a national number next year. He's out of Sherwood, Wisconsin on the Best Accessors Arai helmets entry. He's got the lead in front of a lot of fast company, Chris.
Yeah, we saw some experience from the second row. The 27 of Robbie Pearson, you know, starting basically in the 7th position, up here battling for transfer position now, running a solid third. With the 74 of Scooter Vernon in 4th. All these riders, with the exception of Cunningham, I believe have made the main event here at one time before, as the double draft comes into play for the KTM and Robbie Pearson moving to the front.
That is Bugs Pearson on the 27. He came from the second row. He's on the KTM 990 Super Duke, sponsored by KTM, GE Capitals, and Waters Auto Body. He'll lead him off of 2 down the back straightaway. The 94K of Cunningham is right there. Zanatti Racing entry, the 17 of Wiles is there, and another rider. There's 4 riders up there. Scooter Vernon in 4th, just like the last race. We had 4 riders, only 3 positions available.
Yeah, 3 spots available. We'll see how the sense of urgency for position accelerates as the race goes on. The pace seems to be controlled by the 27 at the front right now. The 990 the KTM, a little bit more torque, maybe a little bit more top speed. And we got the XR 750 that Wiles is on behind. Typically a better handling bike through the corners, but the 27 straight line speed downwind, Wiles has nothing for him at the moment.
Wiles seems to be settling right there for second spot, but nobody's passing him either. It's the 94K of Cunningham still in third. Scooter Vernon looking for a way through on the national number 74 bike. So here they come. Lap number 4 going in the books, halfway through our last qualifying race of the afternoon, believe it or not already. It's Pearson out front. Wiles took a look at it for second.
Took a look at it. You know, we're heading into the headwind down the front straightaway. The KTM is still strong enough, though, that there's not quite enough of a pocket for the 17 to pull out and go by, as we see Vernon run up the inside, looking to the second spot, rolls off, settles back into the third position.
Which is okay, because third is the transfer spot. We're just now going to have 5 laps into an 8-lap race. It is Bugs Pearson out front. The 27 leads the way. Wiles is right there on the 17. Now Scooter Vernon. Now the top 3 have pulled away from 4th place in a hurry.
Yeah, they kind of got pretty close together there. They worked as one down the straightaway, but
wow,
still,
he sucked right up onto him though going into 1.
Well, it's interesting when you have a headwind like that and 3 guys fan out, you have draft from all 3 guys. It's a huge pocket that allows you, if you can time it, to get on in there and gain the time.
He gained a lot of time right there going into 1. We're talking about the 94K. That's Jake Cunningham.
Young rider, it's great to see him running up front, getting some valuable experience. Running up front is one thing to ride the Springfield Mile. It's another thing to run up front and gain valuable experience, and that's what he's in the middle of right now.
If I'm not mistaken, he's won here before back on a 450, so he's trying to do it again. You know, trying to get in the main event here in the GNC1 class. So that was on back in the GNC2 days. Here they come off of 2 down the back chute. It's still Bugs Pearson. Vernon pulls out once again. I don't think he has anything for the 17 of Wiles.
Well, the KTM up front is just stout enough for Henry to get kind of pulled along and kind of kept at his rear wheel. And for the 74 to be able to go by, he's got to have a bike that's equally as strong as the one in front in order to have his momentum continue on. With the white flag coming out, still controlled at the front by the 27 of Robbie Pearson, the 17 of Henry Wiles.
Pearson bobbles just a little bit. Here comes Wiles, but Wiles, I think he's smart enough to know he wants to be behind him though, right?
Yeah, I mean, he needs to suck right up to his rear wheel as we have
Cunningham
2 guys
going
fighting for that third spot, going up around the outside, trying to make it work up on the edge of the groove.
Cunningham on the high side, trying to make it happen.
On the high side, we'll see if he's allowed back. Yep, it gets back in behind the 17 of Henry Wiles. Continues to minimum up. Great last lap by Cunningham to
we'll
get
have a national number next year. Wow.
Congratulations. That was a great last lap from 4th to 3rd. Found his way into the final.
And he's super excited. He's got some fist pump going on down the back straightaway. Your finish order looks like this. The 27 will be your winner. Robbie Pearson on the KTM. He won by 0.067 seconds over Henry Wiles on the 17. Jake Cunningham puts it into his first ever Grand National main event. Next year, he will have a national number. So Jake Cunningham takes the 3rd and final transfer spot. After our upcoming interview, we'll take our 2nd and final intermission. So it's a good time to stretch your legs. Make sure to get your event t-shirts and get ready, because after that, we'll have our GNC2 main and our GNC1 main event. Back to the finishing order. Mick Kirkness finishes up in the 5th spot. Michael Bickerton 6th, Ryan Foster 7th, Cody Johncox 8th, Mikey LaBelle 9th, Corey Texter rounds out your top 10 on the Yamaha, Kel Kochman, Troy Bayless will get 12th, Danny Eslick 13th, Evan Bear, Will Cato, Ken Maynard round out your field. No start for Jake Shoemaker on the 55 Triumph.
Unfortunate day for the 55 and the Bonneville Performance team, not being able to make the start in this one, but the story of this race anyhow is another non-Harley brand, the KTM. Robbie Pearson, 27, from right here in central Illinois. I'm sure he's elated to find himself in the final on this new team he rode a little bit for late in the season last year. They've gotten together the KTM Duke, another brand into the final. I think we might have 7 or 8 different brands as we get ready to head this down to Danny Medine and our winner, Robbie Pearson.
So Robbie was just telling me that this is pretty much a home race. What do you think of this crowd?
Well, I think I see some people I recognize up there. Thanks for coming out and chancing the rain.
Robbie, let's talk a little bit about track conditions. How much has changed from the beginning of the day until now?
Well, the groove's starting to get some grip. I mean, early in the day it was kind of dry, and this KTM was one to light the tire up, but Andrew, Dave Waters, everyone at the Waters Auto Body crew, KTMG, we've been working on this thing all day, and that's the best we had it. So if we can make it a little bit better, I think we'll be all right.
All right, Robbie Pearson's going on. Good luck in the main event.